You probably think your cat avoids you because they are just naturally a little arrogant. Or maybe you figure they are mad at you for some weird reason. But the truth is actually completely different, and it might be pretty painful to hear. Your cat actually perfectly remembers exactly how you handled them. I mean, cats actually do remember exactly how you held them. A lot of us subconsciously make these little mistakes that create a permanent sense of fear in their brains. When you suddenly scoop a cat up from the front, they start to view themselves as helpless prey. Out in the wild, their ancestors hunted completely alone and learned to survive on their own. They didn't have a massive pack or family that would rush in to help if they got into danger. So when someone suddenly grabs them from above their head, their brain signals that a predator just attacked them. We think cats forget everything. I mean, no, they really do not forget anything. They just don't show it like humans do. Scientists have studied cognitive science and their brain structure heavily, and they found that the feline nervous system is incredibly complex. Researchers ran tests and saw that if an object goes out of sight, a cat can remember it for maybe 60 seconds at most. This is called object permanence, which is the ability to understand that objects still exist, something you also see in human babies. But when it comes to emotions, especially feelings of fear, their long-term memory becomes extremely sharp. They can carry a short 10-minute trauma or scary experience with them for their entire life. How you shoved them into the carrier during a trip to the vet clinic gets totally burned into their brain. A lot of people try to control a cat by grabbing the loose skin on the back of their neck, which goes completely against their natural behavior. That is actually a super painful and terrifying experience for them. Mother cats only move tiny kittens by the scruff, but if you hold an adult cat like that, it completely destroys their sense of self-control. They experience a massive level of frustration and just want to get away from your touch. The first 2 to 9 weeks of a cat's life are the most important time for their socialization. If they do not get at least 40 minutes of gentle human touch every single day during this time, they might end up fearing people forever. Their brain's neural circuits get wired to view humans as a threat instead of a friend. Cats who miss out on the right touch during this sensitive window grow up not wanting to sit in your lap or tolerate petting for very long. Sometimes a cat will come up to you asking for attention, but just a few seconds later, they suddenly bite or scratch you. This is called petting-induced aggression. They really do want your love, but their nervous system gets overstimulated way too fast. Once it passes their tolerance level, this is their way of telling you to stop. You might not realize just how uncomfortable your style of petting is to them. Honestly, I can't say for sure if this works exactly the same way for every cat, because every cat has different genetics. But the vast majority of cats absolutely hate having their stomach or paws touched. The belly is the most vulnerable part of their body, so touching it naturally triggers them to bite in self-defense. Instead, they want you to gently massage specific glands on their face. Cats have special glands around their chin, under their ears, and near their lips that release calming pheromones. When you rub those spots, they feel safe and start to build trust in you, because these touches send a calming signal straight to their brain. This one little change can completely turn your relationship with them around. If you pay close attention, you will notice that cats often pretend to sleep when they are under a lot of stress. Even with their eyes closed, their ears keep flicking around, and they track everything happening in the room. This is a coping mechanism they use to hide themselves and avoid danger. If your cat hides under the bed or inside a closet, don't try to force pull them out. If you drag them out by force, it creates a level of distrust in you that is almost impossible to fix. They can actually read your every emotion and your body language perfectly. This is called social referencing, where they figure out if you are happy or worried. One test showed that when an unfamiliar fan or a weird new sound turns on, a cat will look right at their owner's face. If the owner looks scared or anxious, the cat changes its own behavior to match. Meaning, if you are under heavy mental stress, your cat absorbs that stress right into themselves. Long-term stress can cause cats to develop all sorts of complicated physical illnesses that you cannot see from the outside. Feline idiopathic cystitis, or inflammation of the bladder, is one of the biggest silent killers. This is a sickness that isn't caused by any bacteria, but comes directly from mental stress. They start peeing outside the litter box or in random spots around the house because their normal spot just does not feel safe to them anymore. We usually get annoyed and yell at them, but they are really just begging us for help. Last weekend, when I brought a new litter box box home from PetSmart for him, I noticed he was way more interested in the cardboard box it came in, because that small, dark box gives them a safe shelter or hiding spot that calms their nerves down. A litter box should be at least 1.5 times the length of your cat's body. Otherwise, they just won't feel comfortable in it. If you scold them or hit them, they will never understand why they are being punished. As a result, they will just remember you as an unreliable and dangerous person. You never need to use punishment to teach a cat, since positive reinforcement or rewards work so much better. They can tell your voice apart from others and respond way more to you calling them than a stranger. Another fun fact is that cats can actually understand human pointing and gestures really well. If you point your finger at some food, they will follow your direction perfectly. But when they cannot figure out how to solve a problem, they don't look up at humans for help the way dogs do. Because cats are independent animals who love solving their own problems. A lot of people think cats can't bond with humans as deeply as dogs do, but this idea has been proven totally wrong. Even when a famous test meant to figure out the psychology of human babies was done on cats, the results were pretty surprising. Through this test, they saw that cats also form a very strong, secure attachment or safe bond with their owners. If left alone in a strange room, they get scared. But the second their owner shows up, they start exploring their surroundings. They come over to rub against their owner and only want to play when their owner is around. But for this bond to survive, your behavior has to be reliable and consistent. If you feed them at a specific time every day or play with them regularly, their stress levels drop significantly. You have to play with them using interactive toys to satisfy their natural hunting instincts. Just pouring food into a bowl does not give them any physical or mental stimulation. Hiding their food or using food puzzles keeps their brain sharp and stops them from getting obese. Older cats can develop things like cognitive dysfunction syndrome, which is basically like Alzheimer's. Then they might cry at night, get confused, and wander around without any real purpose. During times like this, the good routines and behaviors you built up with them earlier will help keep them calm. Food packed with antioxidants, fish oil, and B vitamins does a great job at slowing down these age-related brain issues. But the greatest medicine of all is the safety and love you provide. To understand cat language, you need to pay close attention to their pupils, the position of their ears, and how their tail moves. Walking toward you with their tail sticking straight up means they have accepted you as their family. But folding their ears back and having fully dilated pupils means they are absolutely terrified. Trying to force pick them up or pet them in that exact moment would be the biggest mistake of your life. Give them the time they need to calm down on their own terms. Trust is the entire foundation of your relationship with your cat. It might take weeks or months to build this trust, but it only takes one split second to break it. If you pin them down by force during a vet visit, they will carry that panic with them for a long time. Instead, try to make the carrier or cage feel like a safe, familiar space for them. If you leave their favorite blanket or toy inside the open cage, they will naturally go in there to sleep. A cat's nose is way more sensitive than ours, and they experience the world mostly through smell. So using perfumes or heavy scented cleaners creates a really intense discomfort for them. They know exactly what you smell like, and your physical presence is their biggest shelter. Scientists notice that when cats want food, the frequency of their meow actually sounds a lot like a human baby crying. It is an incredible adaptation they use to pull empathy right out of us. But when they are actually suffering from deep mental stress, they silently withdraw and just sit completely alone. As a responsible cat parent, figuring out these silent struggles is our main job. Just a little bit of patience and effort from you can change a cat's entire world. They might not wag their tail to greet you like a dog or listen to every word you say, but they really do love you in their own unique language and view you as a permanent part of their family. Once you start picking up on these tiny, silent signals, you will notice your cat is not avoiding you anymore. They will come to you on their own because now they know there is zero danger in your touch. Keep in mind, a cat never ever forgets bad treatment, but they do know how to forgive. If you can prove to them that you are safe, they will spend their entire life right by your side. So starting today, before you scoop your cat up, take at least 1 second to ask yourself if they really want your touch right now. Instead of forcing it, give them the space to come to you on their own terms. Because when a cat chooses to sit in your lap entirely on their own, there is no better feeling in the world. That is the real secret to building a truly healthy and loving relationship with your cat. If you guys have any more weird experiences with your cat's behavior, feel free to share them with us down in the comments. We will try to break down the science behind those behaviors in our next video.